we get the 2020 result.
There's no way at this point to overturn the 2020 election, right?
No, there's always a way. There's always a way.
There's no
That's why
consequence.
the audits are out. There's millions of guns here. It took 11 days for them to take over Afghanistan. Wonder how many days. Just ask for a friend how many days it'd take the Patriots to take over this country. Think about it.
You don't want that to happen here, do you?
I don't want it to happen, but if our country and our government and our Congress and Biden and them don't get their heads out of their butt, it's going to happen. I assure you, it's coming.
Okay, so that was CNN video. I apologize. I should know that individual's name because he does these. He's basically like their version of Emma Vigeland back in the day, talking outside of the Trump rally, and that guy totally doesn't want a revolution. Sure, he doesn't fantasize about it at all. But anyway, Francesca, Donie O'Sullivan, Pride of Ireland. Thank you. It's on his business cards. Anyway, thank you, Donie O'Sullivan, for continuing to potentially expose yourself to COVID there. So that was one of the individuals outside of a Trump rally, which, look, if you speak to any random person outside of a Trump rally, there's a good chance they're gonna say something crazy. If they're wearing a vest, that's a lock. Vested Trump rally goer is gonna say something insane. Francesca, the only reason I think this is worth paying attention to is the continued acceptance and near giddiness for political violence. What do you think?
Look, yeah, Trump rallies are like bad TGI Fridays. Like the more flair that anyone is wearing, the worse.
I noticed the flair
just
too.
like you too many patches and badges. Yeah, bad. But and also like too little. If it's just like khakis and polo shirt, like that person definitely has a gun. The comparisons to the Taliban, it reminds me of, Tucker Carlson making the claim that basically, the Taliban represents better values than the United States does or than the Afghan government did because they get that patriarchy is a real thing and that we should love it and that women should be in the home and they shouldn't be educated. Like, oh my God, right? So, look, I think I don't want to, I know there's problems people have with vanilla ISIS or Al Qaeda or ye hotties. And I understand that, we shouldn't, we should understand like Sharia law is different in different places, et cetera. I'm not trying to disrespect Islam, but what I am saying is that drawing those parallels between what we've been told supposedly, Islamic terrorism is, so-called Islamic terrorism, and the kinds of orthodoxies and the fundamentalism and the violence, the political violence we're seeing in this country, that is something that is not lost on people, that we should be drawing parallels as we're told to fight and hate one, and that these folks here are patriots. So, and it's scary, this is the thing, like, look, the Proud Boys have been running amok over in Portland, Oregon, and the FBI, the police, not doing anything, not really taking it seriously, just straight up wielding guns openly on the streets. And so it's funny because you think that's ridiculous. My first reaction is, oh, that'll never happen. What are you talking about? 11 days, look, Afghanistan is not the United States, blah, blah, blah. And then you see January 6th and you're like, oh, you all are deluded because the system of white supremacy is such that your extremism will be protected, whereas people marching to not be shot by police or for their civil rights or to be able to vote or for their reproductive rights, those people are actually the ones who are being bludgeoned by the state and not the extremists who want to tear down the actual state. Funny how that all works.
Yeah, and when you see things like in Portland and January 6th, the slow response, like, they would cause a lot of chaos, and God only knows how many allies they'd have inside of these things. But like, they are to their core ahistorical. Like, the Afghan national government and the United States military, it's similar abilities to ward off yahoos with guns. How can you possibly think that? It's such a crazy thing. Anyway, there's a super chat from Jeffrey who says, Francesca, you forgot Bubba Haram. I had not heard that one actually.
It's a stretch, anyway. A little bit of a stretch, but I appreciate it.
They're trying, they're working with what's there. Anything on Shin Bet? No. Anyway, I'm sure they'll figure out something. But look, they're desperate for it. I understand that the the invocations of things like The Handmaid's Tale have become a little bit cliched and common, but like when you cannot go one of these rallies without finding people like freely admitting how excited they are for the premise of Handmaid's Tale, the bunch of wacko religious fundamentalists storming Congress and shooting it up, like that's the process he's talking about. On camera, he can say that he doesn't want it. He's just saying things, but they make the case, and it's just become so normalized. Like I understand, like they will say, they'll try to both sides it and say, well, look, you libs were really mad when Trump got elected. Yeah. Don't recall ever doing a show about how we need to take up guns and storm the government. I never saw that. Not a lot of lefties were calling for that sort of thing, but it has become sort of the default for the right. In the absence of anything like real policy goals, like actual legislation to solve the problems they say they have, they don't really have that. Their values systems have fallen apart. It's pretty much just we're better and we should be willing to use violence to prove it. That's sort of the core thing on the right animating a lot of the different segments.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.